Hey everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Eve Echoes Market Watch video series. Plex has gone down again. That is going to be the headline for this video, but for those of you that are unfamiliar with these videos, we just go through what's going on in the Eve Echoes market, trying to figure out what's going on based on what limited information we have, because all we have is the estimated market prices that are provided to us by Mario's API. We can't see stuff like supply and demand, so we have to figure that bit out for ourselves. But going into the actual raw details for this week, if we head over to the weekly stats, of course, if you want to look at all the raw numbers, they're all here. If you want to just pause the screen and have a look at them, I'm not going to be going into them on a granular basis because we could be at this a while. We could be at it a while. But what we have summarised down towards the bottom here is everything in categories. So we have Morphite, all minerals, planetary ships, planetary cobalt. That's referring to Cobalt Edge, Kalevala Expanse, and any of the other new regions. Like the new one that I'm still trying to remember the name of. Is it Ethereum Reach? I need to do more reading. But anyway, and of course we have Planetary for structures, and most importantly Plex, because that's the one more people seem to care about. And of course at the very bottom here, because I was fumbling around with the calculator last time and managed to keep on stopping and starting the recording all over the place, I've actually got the percentages already pre-prepared down here for our enjoyment. Our enjoyment, of course it'll be our enjoyment. So let's have a look at the details, shall we? And I will be bringing up my notes so that you guys won't be able to see it. So yeah. Let's start with Plex, because Plex is the big one. And of course, I want to hold on to you guys for as long as I can. I don't want you to get bored. So, last video, we saw Plex drop by 0.12%. That's this number all the way down here. And dropping is good for the majority of us. For those of us that are hoarding Plex, not so good. But for those of us that are buying Plex on a regular basis, cheaper is always better. And this was after seeing it go up by 3.65%. Bearing in mind, it's been going up consistently for God knows how long now, especially since AI was introduced. AI ratting, that is. Of course, last video, it went down 0.12%, and I was kind of in the air. Was it just a fluke? Was it just a one-off thing that wasn't going to happen again? Turns out it wasn't. Now, ignore the zeros. It turns out that NetEase don't do them weekly anymore. They do these market price updates every 2 weeks, just to be awkward. So, after 2 weeks of activity, it's actually gone down by another minus 1.77%. It is a consistent trend. It is not going up anymore. And there are going to be multiple reasons for this. We have heard that NetEase are interested in getting Plex prices down, and they made an attempt with it by changing how insurance works to try and reduce demand ever so slightly. And yeah, that might have worked, but what I think has had the bigger impact here is the change on the AI PvE rating system. And it's not quite so much a change, it's more a supply issue, let's call it. The fuel for AI PvE ships, the amethyst cones I believe, they've been harder and harder to get a hold of. So now you can't get them through the Concord Pass store, or at least you couldn't in the last video that I had a look at it in. And of course, once you run out of those supplies, people get less free ISK. You're no longer going to be getting 400 million ISK per day for free without having to engage with the game. You actually have to engage with the game. And if you're one of those people that got 400 mil per day from the amethyst cones, and you could only actually rat in-game for maybe an hour or two every couple of days, and maybe you got between 50 and 100 mil per hour, I don't know. But if you take away that AI mining, wow, I really hope we don't get AI mining, by the way. But if you take away that AI ratting, you're taking away maybe half or 3/4 of that person's income, which reduces their buying power. And because everybody's buying power has been reduced, they're competing at lower price points than they were before for Plex on the market. So, of course, Plex prices have gone down consistently. And what I'm interested to see here, and this is something I put in my notes so that I don't forget this for this video and end up tapping it on to the very end. What I'm interested to see is if Plex prices actually start to crash, because in markets, looking at shares and stuff, whenever people have invested for such a long time into a stock and the stock's been consistently going up, they consider it like a lifelong saving. You know, it'll keep on going up, accruing interest. You get rich off of it. And then one day it goes down and a few people sell off. And then because a few people sell off, it goes down even faster. And people continue to keep on selling and it goes down even faster until it hits what its true value is. And when it's hit its true value and not the value that's represented by people just wanting to make money off of it, then it starts to steady. Could it be that's what's about to happen here? I don't know. But it is worth noting, of course, that unfortunately netties have a cap on how quickly Plex can move in any particular direction. So it's not going to crash to 4 million ISK overnight. For those of us that are dreaming, it will actually take time to get down that low. But I am interested to see, will people start selling off their hordes of Plex now that they know it might not be worth the investment anymore? It's an interesting thought. It's something worth keeping an eye on. And I'm just going to grab a quick drink whilst we carry on. So, yeah, we have less AI generating ISK, which means less ISK to go and purchase Plex off of the market. So Plex prices are going down. We could talk all day about Plex prices, and these are probably going to be very Plex-centric videos going forwards. Yeah, it's a shame these are only every 2 weeks, but you got to work with what you've got. So anyway, that is Plex, and we're going to move on now to Planetary interaction, because that's something anybody in the game can engage with, whether you've got a Capsulator outpost or you're just harvesting manually in high sec or null sec, wherever it may be. PI is an interesting one because it's consistently falling. If we have a look at ships, for example, it first fell in the very first measurement by minus 6.8%, then minus 7.3%, then minus 0.66%, and excluding structure, which had a momentary boost, it's been consistently going down. What is worth noting here, though, is whilst in the last video, the Planetary for ships and Cobalt went down by over 7%, now they've gone down by less than 1%. It's almost as if demand has gone up again. Not enough to address the supply issue, the oversupply issue, that was probably created by the PI event that we seem to get every so often. You know the one where we get 50 or 100% bonus PI for an entire month. That really does stock up the surpluses. So PI prices are going possibly in the direction of going back up again. Again, it's still going down, just not as fast as it was. It might be that it just stabilises there, which again, there's nothing wrong with it stabilising. The interesting thing to note here though, Planetary structures, that went down by minus 4%. That suggests that when it comes to structures, there's no real demand for PI at the moment. There really isn't. Without big, massive structure warfare going on and people losing Capsulator outposts with their PI modules left, right and centre, with corporation citadels getting shot down and Stargates and you know the stuff. Unless there's a big war going on that's constantly demolishing all of these structures, structure PI is just not going to be in particularly high demand. And this new Ethereum Reach region where you can put new structures, that's all well and good, but for the most part, not that many corps and alliances are going to be moving into that region. And I suspect that there's not going to be a massive amount built, anchored and destroyed in there. Mainly because of the built-in anchored aspect of it. But anyway, that is what we're looking at with PI at the moment. If you're looking at the moment at setting up a new PI configuration, whether it's in high sec, null sec, the old-fashioned way or with a Capsulator outpost, wherever it may be, odds are you're going to want to be going down the ships route when it comes to figuring out what PI you want. And I'll just let you glance ever so quickly at the PI as I scroll up here, just to figure out which ones are actually going up and which ones are going down. So if you want to have a quick look, just pause the screen here, have a quick look, find out which shipbuilding PI is available to you that's actually gone up in price, and maybe you want to select that. But do remember, prices change with the market demand. What you select today might not be relevant in 2 weeks' time. So unless you want to chase the market trends, it can. I used to do that. I used to follow the market trends, and every 2 weeks I'd figure out which PI had the best return value and keep on changing it. But now I have a YouTube channel, so I can only do so much in game. So let's move on, shall we, to mining. Yes, that really exciting feature in the game where you just leave yourself mining in space and hope no neutrals come along and shoot you up. So yeah, that's how I used to do it. So it's a lot easier to do it like that, actually, when you've got your earpiece on and you can listen to people shouting and screaming, neutral, neutral. Anyway, let's move on to mining again. Let's try not to get too distracted. So let's have a look. Mining as a whole is quite interesting. This is an interesting one to note here. And I'm just going to bring up my notes. Yep, because I will get sidetracked. I always get sidetracked. I've ended up downloading this game, right? Lo-Fi Spirit City, or the other way around, Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions. It's really intended to keep my brain on track when it comes to actually doing these videos, and it's working quite well. It's only been out a week, and yeah, that's working out quite well. Anyway, I could really do with not going off track here. Minerals, mining, yes, that. So, as we can see, Morphite has gone up again, quite consistently. In the last video, it had gone up by 1.71%, and prior to that, between videos, 4.91%. This time, 20.68%. It has gone up quite drastically over the past 2 weeks, 20.68%. That's not a fluke. That means that there's been quite an increase in demand for building capital ships, because don't forget, Morphite is exclusive to capital ships, unless one of the new fancy ships, like the Cobalt Edge ones, snuck in some of that material, but I don't think that's the case. I believe it is still exclusive to capital ships. So capital ship production has gone up quite significantly looking at this. And of course, because of that, it has pulled up the value of your average nullsec ore barge mining hold by 17.89%. So if you're a miner at the moment, or you used to be, and you've still got your mining ship docked up and you're thinking, oh, it's not really worth my time. If you've got a decent ore hold, you've got decent mining speeds and whatnot, whether it's a Rorqual or a cover to 2, I'm a cover to 2 guy, it's gone up quite significantly. It might actually be worth your time mining, especially considering it's a lot less hands-on. So yeah, but it is worth noting that for the most part, it's only the Morphite that's driven that demand. Let's take a quick look, shall we? So if we just go up here to the actual materials that makes up the rest of the mining hold. I say mining hold, this is refined goods, okay? So titanium, that's 3.0, that never changes, that's always locked in right there at 3 pretty much. It's going to be rare that we see that move. Pyrite went down ever so slightly. Mexilon down ever so slightly, same with Isogen, Noxium, Zydrine. The only ones that went up are Megasite and Morphite. So all of the common stuff that you might find in high sec and low sec, they've all gone down. So if you're high sec or null sec, wow, okay, my brain's still waking up. If you're a high sec or low sec miner, the value of your ore holds has gone down. It has actually gone down, which might be unfortunate for you. But if you're null sec, the value of your hold has actually gone up by 17.89%. And if you're one of those annoying people that exclusively ninja mine the Morphite itself, then congratulations, your ore hold has actually gone up by 20.68%. So if you're a miner and you want better yields in your ore holds, you need to head into nullsec. join one of these nullsec corporations or alliances and just head out and mine there. Yes, you will lose the occasional ship here and there, but it can be good fun. It can be good fun. But anyway, that about sums up everything, and the cat is now wandering around trying to get my attention. Yeah, that rounds up everything to my knowledge. I'm just going to have a quick look at my notes to make sure I haven't missed out anything important. And no, I have not missed out anything important. So yeah, so to summarise, mining in nullsec is getting a lot more rewarding. That's the word I'm looking for. Mining in nullsec, a lot more rewarding than it used to be. Plex has come down. And if you're looking to set up a PI setup, odds are you're going to be going with shipbuilding PI at the moment, because there seems to be a continued reduction in demand for, of course, the planetary stuff. And if you want to look at the fancy graph, because I had that at the start of the video and I've not looked back at it since, there it is. Plex is hiding all the way at the top up here. Hopefully, if it continues to come down, we'll actually be able to see it a bit more clearly on the graph. But it's all right there. If you wanted anything to take away from this video, just grab a screenshot of this on the side of the screen. You can choose whether or not to crop me out, doesn't really matter. But anyway, thanks again for watching, everyone. If you find these videos helpful and are maybe looking at getting back into mining again, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I am slowly working my way to 1,000, and I did recently hit that magical number of 666. Yeah, apparently that's a milestone for me. But anyway, thanks again for watching, everyone. Fly safe, fly casual, fly dangerous, whatever it may be. And see you guys in the next video. Beep! And I might as well say cheers. Cheers! Beep! Hey everyone, and welcome to what I think is the second video in the Eve Echoes Market Watch video. Wow, that went well.